All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video, and today we got another deck list for Black Yellow Charlotte Linlin. I was not going to go to the tournament on Friday, just a little local tournament where I live. It was about 18 players, and I wasn't going to go at first, but something came up where basically my plans opened up where I was going to have time to go. And I was thinking, okay, I'm just going to bring the Black Yellow list that I've been running, but I'd already taken it apart and I was messing with new variants, just kind of, you know how it is. As a deck builder, you're always trying new things. And I just thought, I need to make something just as degenerate as possible. like literally just the whole game plan is just drop a 10 cost Big Mom. That's the entire plan. So I just kind of threw this together and did really well. I threw this list together. Let me go ahead and click on the list now. Kind of show you guys. Whoops. Whatever. There we go. Okay, so this is the list I ended up running, and I got second place with it. Now, I will preface with this. One thing I'm starting to realize the more that I play Black Yellow, the more I, just put time into playing the game and going to tournaments and whatnot. It seems like this deck requires a lot of help from its triggers. Now, yes, of course, we're playing lots of cards that help us from the trigger. We're running our Thunderbolts, our Impact Waves. This time I was running Ice Age. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the list in a second. And then I was running Charlotte Brûlés. Tried out Charlotte Brûlée. And I guess basically the biggest problem is, how do I say this? I had I had one very good game, two extremely close games where I won specifically from a trigger on last swings, and then the final game was just an incredibly strong, just an incredibly good game. Me and the player had I'll talk about it in a second. So real quick, let me run through the list, and then I'll try to summarize what I was just talking about. I know that was a little clumsy. Y'all bear with me. So this was Friday, like I said, got second place, went 3-1, a little 18-person tournament at a local. I was running 4x Strucin and 4x Khalifa. Took out the Suru because I figure, okay, a lot of people have been messaging me in YouTube, in the comments, saying that they had quite a bit of success with their CP9 package. Okay, well, I went ahead and tried it again, and I did have pretty good success, and I can see, I knew where it was strong, but it never really fully paid off, with the blue nose and everything for me. It never came to fruition, it never perfectly manifested, however you say that for me with this list. But anyway, so let's go into it real quick here. So 4x Strucin, 4x Khalifa for my 2K counters. Then I added Pudding, and the only target I'm going for is Charlotte Linlin. Yes, there are other targets. I can grab Strucin, Opera, Thunderbolt, Charlotte Brûlée. There are other options, but I'm specifically trying to target Linlin with this variant of the deck. And then, directly to the right of that, four Charlotte Linlins, in case I didn't already say that. And then directly to the right of that stack, down there in the middle here, the Opera Kumadori Sakazuki package. Man, I gotta say, Charlotte, Opera, and Kumadori, it's all about this. The 4-cost 6K power body, these guys were MVPs tonight. Or, excuse me, not tonight. I'm recording this later. It was about 2 nights ago. They were absolute MVPs. When I said turn 4 Opera or turn 4 Kumadori, I was so confident with that play every single time. I don't know really how else to explain that. It's just that's a big body. Yeah, they can jet pistol it, sure, or they could get Sakazuki'd, which they did. There were times where they got Sakazuki'd and whatnot against the Lucci player I played. But I guess the whole point is, if they don't get into the removal they need, that is a beater on the board. And I'll talk about against matches where these guys were absolute monsters. Okay, up at the top right, Thunderbolt Impact Wave. I've been running that as an 8-up the whole time. I have no regrets about running these as 4x for both. Impact Wave for obvious reasons. Off the trigger, it's insane. And then you could pay 2 on defense and counter out for 4K, KOing at 3 or less. I'm never upset with that. I was not upset with that even one time. 4x Thunderbolt as well. You'd be surprised how many times you actually Thunderbolt from your life. Well, excuse me. well, yes, actually from the trigger, but I misworded that. You'd be surprised how many times you trash a card from your life and just KO a 5 or less. Like, there were quite a few times where I think I did that. Especially over all the course of me playing this black-yellow deck and, like, making revisions. And, yeah, you know, Thunderbolt is just solid. And then worst case scenario, you just trash it with your Sakazuki or your Charlotte Linlin, and you gain a life, or, you know, or the Sakazuki effect. So very happy with that. Ice Age I tried. It never came up even one time. Just unlucky, I think, because there were times I wish I had it. There were times where I wish I had Ice Age where I could have taken out a Eustace Kid or a the 8-cost kid, and then the Mihawk. I played against a Dofi deck running Dracula Mihawks. Okay, and then down here in the bottom right, this is just a blocker package. 4 Fukuros, 4 Borsalino, 2 Hina, 2 Bluno, and 3 Brules. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through the matches real quick. That's the list. And like I said, man, those 4-cost vanilla characters were disgusting. And Kumadori's nice for Bluno. But again, I didn't get any success out of Bluno. But at the same time, I did well overall. It just never really... I just can't get the CP package to really benefit me. It might be my play style. I might have to change my tempo up or change up my style. But I just seem to never get any benefit from Bluno. Okay. All right, so these are the matches. Game 1, game... You see, I went... I changed it up this time. I think I went, like, at the very top first. Game 1 and Game 2 at the top. And then Game 3 and Game 4 at the bottom. So, let me just go through them real quick. Game 1 was against Dofi. Very solid player. Played extremely well. I didn't see any mistakes he made. I couldn't point out any mistakes he made. And just... Yeah, this was an attrition game. I think it lasted the full 40 whatever minutes, and we got hit with a 5-minute timer, you know, saying like, all right, guys, you know, you're in overtime, or however that works. But we finished right before that. Very strong, very good game, and I think a very strong showing of the black-yellow deck. Next up was against Rob Lucci. So this was... I don't know what it is against Rob Lucci. I always pull so horribly. Just 0 Fukuros, 0 Borsalinos, 0 Sakazukis. They don't exist in my deck. It is what it is. But I was able to pull this one out because... So the person I was playing against, he's beaten me before with his Rob Lucci deck, and he was actually lined up to beat me in this game. But it came down to his final swing, where he had, basically, his board presence was this. He had his Rob Lucci character loaded up to swing at face. I had a blocker in 1 life. And he has a Borsalino. Okay, so he swings in for 9 or whatever it was. I could not block it. So I take the life card. It was an impact wave off the top. I KO his Borsalino, because for those who don't know, you can KO Borsalino on your opponent's turn, right? Because this sounds confusing, but Borsalino, let me go back to the card. You can't, it's too small a font to read it down there, but it's on your opponent's turn. He becomes un-KOable by effects and gets the plus 1,000. So in other words, when it's on your turn, like when you're attacking, Borsalino is very vulnerable. And he got punished with an impact wave. I mean, it wasn't so much a punish. The guy had no other choice. It was for a game. Either he was going to win that turn or I was going to win the next turn. Just period. And got the trigger. Won me the game. Move on to the next round. Go against Kuro. Very similar situation. Okay, against the Kuro player, he dropped down a Eustace Captain Kidd when I had 2 Charlotte Operas and a Kumadori down. And I just literally said, okay, attach 2 on here, swing 8. Attach 2 on here, swing 8. Attach 2 on here, swing 8. And he just kept having to counter out of it, or he loses Kid, because he uses Captain Kidd. And that, like I said, these 4-cost beaters, man, I think they showed up in every game, and they just showed out every time. It was just nice to plop them down. Because, okay, what's the worst case scenario? They KO these instead of, like, your Hina, or your Bluno, or your Brule. You know what I mean? I don't know. I did see some value in these. Maybe I'm just crazy. Y'all tell me what y'all think of these, by the way. Anyway, excuse me. And so against the Kuro player, so really brutal game. He was a super aggro list where he went like turn 1 Alvida or whatever. It's the one cost 3k. And then I ended up winning this game off the life trigger again. This was yet another game where it's like, okay, just like the Rob Lucci game where it's like, okay, it's coming down to the very last attacks here. Here we go. He swings in. He was going to play. He had like I think he had 2 Dawn open or something. No. So the ability costs 3. Yeah. So he had, I think he had 4 Dawn active, and he was able to, and he had 1 character untapped on the field. So he attacked me thinking, okay, then I'm going to play the character and then untap and swing for lethal because I had no blocker to stop it. He did that. He attacked, but guess what? Yet again, Impact Wave off the top. Not Thunderbolt, Impact Wave off the top. I took out his guy, and he was no longer going to be able to play enough to, you may rest 2 of your characters with East Blue type and then set this character as active. So he just wasn't going to be able to pull it off, and I won it through that as well. So again, 2 trigger games that I won. Doesn't feel great, but at the same time, that's the gamble you're taking playing Black Yellow, Big Mom, right? Like Black Yellow Charlotte Linlin. Like we're specifically running a character that is constantly putting life cards back on top of the life stack to get more and more trigger activation potential. So yeah, it worked out. It worked out fine. But then finally in game 4, this was for first place because me and the guy were both undefeated. This is one of the better players at the store. Very, very capable player on Eustace Captain Kidd. Solid player. He likes to go to the treasure cups and stuff. This game, I'll just read what I wrote here. This was for first place. A really great game that went on probably 14 to 15 turns. And in the end, Kidd's double attack won it, but a blocker life trigger would have won me the game for sure. Yet again, it came down to the very final attack. The very final, killing blow, or however you want to say it. And it's either, okay, either I'm going to get a life trigger to win me the game, or I'm just going to lose the game. And that did feel bad. Like, yeah, sure, it worked out for me twice that night. But against, eventually your luck's going to run out. You know what I mean? Or at least that's the way it feels. And again, maybe I need to switch up my play style a little bit. We'll see. I've got a lot of testing to do. But yeah, that game was extremely close. Me and this player, we've done this match before. Me running Black Yellow, Charlotte Linlin versus his Eustace Captain Kidd deck, and same exact time every time. He always just barely beats me out attritions me in the end, and which is unbelievable. In this game right here, let me just explain how much of attrition Eustace Captain Kidd can get around. I had 3 10 cost Charlotte Linlin. Like, I mean Big Mom. We're talking 10 cost, 12,000 power Charlotte Linlin. I was swinging for 36k every single turn. Swing 12, swing 12, swing 12. He just, just block. And then, all right, you're up. So next turn I'm going to beat him down, right? Nope. 3 more blockers down. Okay. Next turn, swing 12, block. I went through 15 blockers this game. I went through 15 of his blockers. And in the very end, it came down to him having a Basil Hawkins and his leader. That was it. And it was just a matter of if I could have ripped a Brûlé off the top, then I win the game. I don't think the others would have been able to do it unless I had Dawn open, and I don't believe I did. So, but yeah, didn't get it. And it was a good game. It was a very good game, but in the end, he was able to pull it off. Eustace Captain Kidd, the way that the player at my store builds it, has the most insane attrition engine I've ever seen. And he's not even gaining life. He's just playing blockers on blockers on blockers. Okay, so that's how the night went. If you have any questions about any of my matches, please ask away. They were very good games. This is against very, very good players, very competent players. The Dofi list and the Eustace Captain Kidd, or the players, the Dofi player and the Eustace Captain Kidd player, they go to like treasure cups. They do the online regional stuff. They like to play in that. They do pretty well in them. It's just, it is what it is. The Black Yellow deck really shines against some of these matchups, but against like Captain Kidd, it felt awful. It felt horrible. Because just to summarize, it feels good playing against Dofi with my deck because they just, they're kind of playing the long game as well. They're playing attrition, and I think our deck just slightly out attritions theirs. Whereas the opposite is true with Captain Kidd. They play the long game, but their attrition slightly outdoes ours. Or again, that's just what it felt like. Who knows? You know, because ultimately it comes down to that final ability and the way that they're able to draw, like, you know, 2 and 3 cards every single turn, 4 cards a turn sometimes, between Bonnie's, Momo's, and Killer, the blocker, and the Kazaru, I think his name is. He's like I think he's a 3 cost 4K. Attach it on if you have another character in play, draw a card, something like that when attacking. But this ability to swing twice, like Lucci, Eustace, Captain Kidd, and Kuro, every one of them have this ability to swing twice, and it almost won them the game every single time. Every game tonight, if I didn't get life triggers, I would have lost both these games. The Rob Lucci and the Kuro, and then Captain Kidd, I just ran, you know, like I said, I ran out of luck, didn't get the life trigger I needed off the top, so that was game. So yeah. So okay, what else? Trying to think if there's anything else to say. So direction of the deck moving forward, I think this is the next list I'm going to try. I'm not going to be trying too much more Black Yellow Big Mom, because at the end of this video I want to ask people what they think I should go next. I've got a few options that I want to explore. But if I were to go forward with the deck, I think it would be more along this line, because so far every single time that I've lost, it has always been an issue of I cannot take board control. And I mean, like I said, against the Captain Kidd deck, I had 3 Big Moms down, and my leader's just swinging. I'm swinging for 41,000 damage a turn, and it just doesn't matter. Like, they just, oh yeah, I'll just play infinite blockers, and I'll just slowly whittle you down, and then I'll double strike you at the end to win the game. So it's like, okay, you know, how do we get around that? And I think moving forward, I think I want to try Kuzan in the place of Big Mom. And I know that might sound crazy, but my thought process is this. Okay, he comes into playing KOs, obviously. This would also turn on Smoker's ability 9 times out of 10. And also, you know, it allows us to hit anything in the game with Thunderbolt and Sakazuki. And I mean literally, you know, that's hitting a 10 with Sakazuki and Thunderbolt. The only characters that would be safe are the ones like Fukuro or Borstena who can't be KO'd. But I also, after doing the playtesting, Strusen was nice, guys. Strusen was pretty nice, not just as a 2K counter, but also as a way to take out little characters that, you know, again, with this list and with this deck, I'm still battling for board control to some extent, right? I can't just let them fill the board up, especially when I'm going against Kuros, Captain Kidds, and Rob Lucci's, and Doflamingo for that matter. You know, you do have to fight for board control. So the Charlotte Opera and Kumadori were nice at fighting for that, because they were also easy to defend, right? If they attack it for 6, I can 1K out. If they attack for 7, I can 2K out. They have to attack for 8 to really, like, secure the KO, if you know, if that's what they're trying to do. What else? Oh, Strusen was nice, like I said. He was just allowing me to pop everything. So, like, if I can turn on his effect even more with something like a Kuzan, the 10-cost Kuzan, obviously, you know, sky's the limits there, because now Strusen's popping a 6, Sakazuki and Thunderbolt are popping 10s, and maybe I'll add a Kobe to pop 8s. We'll see, you know, like maybe as a 1 or 2 of. And I was thinking about even doing Shanks. Again, I might run Shanks as a 1 of just to try him out. The card's awesome, right? It's Shanks. 9 cost 10K. Comes into playing KOs everything that's a 1 or less. Well, like I said, if you have Kuzan down, well, now you're KOing everything that's going to be a 6 or less. And it's only 1 or less for your side of the board, by the way. So that would only KO a Suru or a Strusen for you. So who cares, right? Okay, so I think that's about it, guys. Tell me what y'all think about this list as well if you get a chance. Pretty much went over all this. Yeah, if you have any questions or any comments you want to add about this. One person asked me to try out Buzzcut Mochi, and I definitely would try that out going forward, especially if I go with something more like this list, where I can drop costs down with Helmeppo, Kuzan, and 10-cost Kuzan, and Suru, of course, the counter if needed. You know, a lot of options there. So one last slide here. I want you guys to tell me what y'all think going forward, which leader I should try next. So these are all the leaders I'd be willing to try. I mean, if one's up here that I don't have up here, you can mention it, and I might consider it. But I'm really, like I've mentioned on most videos, the decks that I play are always black. I always try, like, you know, Z, Sakazuki, Garp, you know, Black Yellow, Big Mom. Whenever Rebecca comes out, that's all I'm going to be playing for a hot minute, you know, and probably some Isho, of course. But For the rest of OP03, I'm probably only going to have time to build up and try to master 1 or 2 more decks. And these are the 5 decks that I would 100% consider doing just for fun. You know, I'm not trying to win any big tournaments. It's, you know, this game is fun to me. I've mentioned it before. I just enjoy playing One Piece. So again, if any of these leaders stick out to you of like something that you want to see me play next, I will absolutely go for one of these 5. If no one mentions anything, I am leaning towards Sakazuki actually, because I've got some ideas for Sakazuki. The 5 life leader, I can't express to y'all how I think I would have won every one of these games tonight. They would not have actually gone down to the wire if I'd started with 5 life. It's that 1 extra turn to set up, that 1 extra card to draw. It would have been so nice, but you know, it is what it is. But having the 5 life, I'm gonna try. I might try Sakazuki unless y'all want to see me try something else. Just to give some ideas, these are the ideas I like. When I say I want to try these leaders, these are what I have in mind for them. Sakazuki is going to be a pretty hard control deck. Z is going to be a ramp cost reduction deck, so I could just ramp straight to Kuzan and try to stabilize from there. Garp will be a little bit of an aggro deck that has cost manipulation. So like Smoker would be the big guy in that deck, and then like just lots and lots of cost reduction. Maybe Isho would be the highest drop I have in that deck. Nami, okay, that's obvious. Nami would be an alternate win condition mill deck. And last but not least, Portgastiace. This I would build hard aggro, and I mean like just every red rush card in the game, and then like some events. This would just be a full Mongo deck. Like I said, this is mainly just for fun. I'm not trying to win any tournaments. If I win, of course I take it, you know, but that's the idea going forward. Okay, and I think that's it, guys. I don't want to ramble on for too much longer. I had a lot of fun. Again, so I've gotten 3rd place in this with Black Yellow Big Mom now. And 2nd place at tournaments that were about 18 to 20 players each, with players who I would consider the best competition that is offered in my region. And I think most people would agree with that. Very, very solid turnouts with this Black Yellow Big Mom deck. So, okay, guys, yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think, especially with the 4 cost 6K power vanillas. Those things were absolute beaters all night. And what do y'all think about potentially going forward and swapping out Big Mom for Kuzan 10 cost? Just some ideas. A lot of ideas to talk about. A lot of things to talk about. All right, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. And until next time, guys. Peace.